You'll only see this now just before everything falls into place. And if you clicked on this video, you already know something's shifting. You can feel it. Here's what I need you to do right now. Think about the last 3 months of your life. Have you been feeling like you're close to something but you can't name what it is? Like everything you've been doing is about to make sense, but not yet? If that's you, don't look away. This message expires the moment your life clicks. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 6 signals that appear right before your life reorganizes itself. Not motivational bullshit, not manifestation. Actual psychological patterns that happen in the exact moment before everything you've been working toward suddenly aligns. And here's the thing, you're not going to see these signals before this moment, and you won't recognize them after. There's a window, you're in it right now. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you are in your transformation and what comes next. But only if you're actually in that threshold moment. If you're not there yet, this won't make sense. If you've already crossed it, you'll wish you'd seen this sooner. Most people think transformation happens suddenly. They imagine it like lightning striking without warning, changing everything in an instant. But that's not how life works. Real change, the kind that rewrites your whole story, doesn't announce itself loudly. It whispers first. It sends you signals that something deeper is moving beneath the surface of your everyday life. You've felt this before, haven't you? That restless energy that makes you question everything you thought you wanted. That growing awareness that the life you've been living doesn't quite fit anymore. The way familiar places start feeling strange and conversations you used to enjoy leave you feeling empty. It's like watching a movie you've seen 100 times and suddenly noticing details that were always there but never caught your attention before. Psychologically, this experience has a name. It's called liminal space, the threshold between what was and what will be. And understanding this space, recognizing its signals and knowing how to move through it, can make all the difference between staying stuck in patterns that no longer serve you and stepping into the life you're meant to live. But here's what most people don't realize about this moment. It's not comfortable. In fact, it's designed to feel unsettling. Your brain doesn't like uncertainty. It prefers the predictable, even when predictable is making you miserable. So when change starts moving, your mind tries to talk you out of it. It creates doubt. It whispers that you're being foolish, that you should stay where it's safe, that the unknown is too dangerous to explore. And yet, something deeper keeps pulling you forward. It's that part of you that knows there's more to life than what you're currently experiencing. The part that remembers dreams you used to have before you learned to be practical. The part that recognizes truth when it appears, even if it challenges everything you thought you knew about yourself. This tension between safety and growth creates a unique psychological state. You're no longer who you used to be, but you're not yet who you're becoming. It's like being between chapters where one story has ended, but the next hasn't begun. Most people find this space so uncomfortable, they rush back to what's familiar, even if it wasn't working for them. But what if I told you this uncomfortable space is actually where everything is being prepared? That it's where all real alignment begins? That the very discomfort you're feeling is a sign you're exactly where you need to be? The truth is, everything that matters happens in this space between certainty and possibility, between the known and unknown, between who you were and who you're becoming. And learning to recognize this space, to honor it, to move through it with awareness rather than panic, is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. There are patterns to this experience, signals that appear right before everything falls into place. And once you know what to look for, you'll never miss them again. You'll start to see that what feels like chaos is actually order rearranging itself. What feels like loss is actually making space for something better. What feels like an ending is actually a beginning in disguise. The first signal is the breakdown of old structures. Things that once felt solid start to crack. Relationships that seemed permanent begin to shift. Career paths that made sense suddenly feel meaningless. Daily routines that provided comfort start to feel like prison cells. It's not that these things were necessarily bad, it's that you've outgrown them. Like a snake shedding skin, you can't expand into who you're becoming while still wearing the shell of who you used to be. This breakdown often shows up as restlessness. You find yourself questioning decisions you made years ago. You wonder what would have happened if you'd chosen differently. You feel pulled toward new experiences, new places, new people. Old interests lose their appeal, while strange new fascinations emerge. You might find yourself drawn to books you never would have read, music you never would have listened to, conversations you never would have had. People around you might not understand these changes. They might try to pull you back to who you used to be. Not because they want to limit you, but because change makes them uncomfortable too. They're attached to their version of you, the one they could predict and understand. But you're becoming someone new, someone more authentic, someone who no longer fits the old patterns. This is when the second signal appears, the emergence of new desires. Not surface-level wants, but deep soul longings that feel both foreign and familiar at the same time. You start wanting things that don't make logical sense based on your history. You feel drawn to experiences that terrify and excite you simultaneously. You begin to imagine possibilities that would have seemed impossible just months before. These new desires often contradict your old identity. The practical person starts dreaming of creative pursuits. The introvert begins craving deeper connections. The perfectionist starts valuing authenticity over achievement. It's not that your old self was wrong. It was incomplete. You're not becoming someone else. You're becoming more fully yourself. But here's where it gets interesting. Just as these new desires start to emerge, obstacles appear. Not random obstacles, but precisely the ones that challenge your old patterns of thinking and being. It's like life is testing your commitment to this shift. Are you serious about this transformation, or just playing with the idea? This is the third signal, the appearance of perfect challenges, situations that force you to practice new ways of being, opportunities disguised as problems. Doors that look closed but are actually waiting for you to push them open. These challenges don't feel perfect when you're in the middle of them. They feel overwhelming, unfair, impossible to navigate. But when you look back, you'll see they were exactly what you needed to develop the strength, wisdom, and courage required for your new life. They stripped away everything that wasn't essential, everything holding you back from becoming who you're meant to be. They forced you to discover resources within yourself you didn't know existed. The fourth signal is the most subtle, but perhaps most important. It's the shift in your relationship with time. You stop feeling like you're behind, like you're running out of opportunities, like you've missed your chance. Instead, you begin to sense a deeper rhythm, a perfect timing that operates beyond your understanding. You start to trust that things are unfolding exactly as they should, even when you can't see the bigger picture. This shift happens because you're beginning to align with your authentic self rather than fighting against it. When you're living out of alignment, everything feels forced, rushed, desperate. But when you start moving in harmony with your true nature, there's a sense of flow, of being carried by something larger than your individual will. You'll notice opportunities start appearing at exactly the right moments. People enter your life who have exactly what you need. Resources become available just when you need them most. It's not magic, though it might feel like it. It's alignment. When you stop fighting against your own evolution, the entire universe seems to conspire to support your growth. But perhaps the most powerful signal of all is the one that happens inside you. It's subtle, easy to miss if you're not paying attention. It's the moment when fear stops being your primary motivator. Not that fear disappears entirely, but it no longer controls your decisions. You begin to make choices based on possibility rather than protection, on love rather than limitation, on who you're becoming rather than who you've been. This shift in motivation changes everything. You start saying yes to things that scare you and no to things that drain you. You begin honoring your intuition even when it doesn't make logical sense. You trust your inner knowing over external opinions, and suddenly decisions that used to paralyze you become clear. Not because the path is obvious, but because you're finally listening to the voice that's been guiding you all along. When this happens, you'll notice your energy changes. Where you used to feel scattered and depleted, you start feeling focused and alive. Tasks that once felt impossible become manageable. Relationships that felt forced begin to flow naturally. You're not trying so hard anymore because you're moving with your natural current rather than against it. But here's what catches most people off guard. Right before everything falls into place, there's often one final test. A moment when everything you've learned, everything you've grown into, gets challenged in the most direct way possible. It's like life is asking, are you really ready for this? Are you truly prepared to step into this new version of yourself? This test rarely looks like what you expect. It might come as a job offer that requires you to trust your abilities, a relationship that demands vulnerability you've never shown before, an opportunity that asks you to bet on yourself when everyone else is betting against you. A moment when you have to choose between the safety of the known and the possibility of the unknown. And in that moment, something remarkable happens. You realize you're not the same person who started this journey. The fears that used to paralyze you still exist, but they no longer define your choices. The doubts that used to consume you still whisper, but you no longer mistake their voice for truth. You've developed something more powerful than confidence. You've developed trust in your own ability to navigate uncertainty. This is when the fifth signal appears, the emergence of unshakable inner knowing. It's different from confidence because confidence is based on past evidence, on proof you can do something because you've done it before. But this knowing exists independent of evidence. It's a deep recognition that you're capable of becoming whoever you need to become, of learning whatever you need to learn, of handling whatever challenges arise. This knowing doesn't eliminate uncertainty. Instead, it transforms your relationship with it. Uncertainty stops being something to fear and becomes something to dance with. The unknown stops being a threat and becomes an adventure. Challenges stop being obstacles and become opportunities to discover new aspects of yourself. When you reach this state, synchronicities start appearing everywhere. Not coincidences, but meaningful connections that seem to guide you toward your next steps. A conversation overheard in a coffee shop gives you the exact insight you needed. A book falls off a shelf and contains the answer to a question you've been asking. A chance encounter leads to an opportunity you never could have imagined. Some people dismiss these experiences as luck or coincidence, but when you're in alignment with your authentic path, they happen too frequently to ignore. It's as if the entire world becomes a conversation and you're finally fluent in its language. You start receiving messages everywhere because you've learned how to listen. This is when you'll notice the sixth signal, the dissolution of the gap between your inner world and your outer reality. The life you've been imagining in quiet moments starts manifesting in tangible ways. Dreams begin taking physical form. Visions start becoming experiences. The future you've been carrying in your heart starts arriving in your present moment. But it doesn't happen all at once. It's more like watching a photograph develop in a dark room. First, faint outlines appear. Then details begin to emerge. Slowly, gradually, the full image comes into focus. Each day brings small confirmations you're moving in the right direction. Each week reveals new pieces of the puzzle. Each month shows you how far you've actually traveled. And then one day, you will look around and realize that it has happened. The life you have been growing toward has grown around you. Not perfectly. Not without challenges, but authentically. You will recognize that the person living this life is someone you could not have imagined when the journey began. Not because they are so different, but because they are far more fully themselves. The relationships in your life reflect your authentic values. The work you do aligns with your natural gifts. The choices you make honor both your individual growth and your connection to something greater than yourself. You have found a way to be deeply grounded and completely free. This is what it looks like when everything comes together. Not a perfect life, but an integrated one. Not the absence of challenges, but the presence of purpose. Not the elimination of uncertainty, but the cultivation of trust that you can navigate whatever comes next. And here is the beautiful paradox. Once you have learned to recognize these signs, once you have experienced this transformation, you realize that it is not a destination, it is a way of being. Alignment is not something that happens once and then is finished. It happens again and again, every time you are ready to grow into the next version of yourself. So if you are in that space right now, if you are feeling the restlessness, the questioning, that strange pull towards something you cannot yet name, please know this. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not missing something that everyone else has already figured out. You are exactly where transformation begins. You are in the sacred pause before everything shifts into alignment. The signs are already there if you know how to look. The collapse of old patterns, the emergence of new desires, the perfectly designed challenges that force you to grow, the change in your relationship with time and fear, the development of an unshakable inner knowing, the synchronicities guiding your next steps, and finally, the beautiful moment when your inner world begins to manifest as your external reality. Trust the process, trust the timing, trust that what appears to be chaos is actually order reorganizing itself around who you are becoming. Because the moment just before everything comes together is not really about things falling apart at all. It is about recognizing that you have been growing into someone capable of holding the life you have always wanted. And that person, that evolved version of you, has been quietly emerging the entire time. You are closer than you think, and you will only see this now just before everything comes together.